Hey everybody, it's the scholar General Ming. Today we're going to take a look at the final posture in General Qi Jiguang's rattan shield manual, or the 纪效八势. This posture is called the 埋伏式, or the ambush stance. The important thing to keep in mind about this stance is that it's very low to the ground. It's about low movement. And I think part of the reason that it's called an ambush stance is because you get very low, and then there's a couple of things a spearman could do, like if they attack you, you could very quickly rise up and surge from underneath with like the last posture we talked about, which is the golden rooster, banks his head posture, that kind of thing. So by getting low to the ground, you can kind of bait and set an ambush for your opponent. In the rattan shield section of the 纪效新书, Qi Jiguang also talks about how the person who has the rattan shield should be quite young and agile. And I think that the big reason for this is because you have to be able to move quickly in these very low postures. And that's something that's easier to do the younger you are. That being said, I think that if you train stances a lot and you work on agility drills and running and stuff, you should still be able to get pretty low to the ground and move quickly. This is just something that takes a lot of work and training to do. And it's something that I'm still working on. Now let's take a detailed look at the description for this posture. The first line of text reads, 此式进步神速, which means that this posture enters in very quickly. And then it says, 用小型或左或右, which means you use small movements to the left or to the right. Basically an emphasis on small movements, but you're actually moving fast. The next line of text reads, 如有枪戳在排不能脱手. So 如有枪 is if there's a spear, 戳在排, thrusting at your shield, 藤牌 is shield, right? So 戳在排, and 不能脱手 means do not let go. And in this context, 戳 usually means like a thrust, but here I actually think it means if it gets stuck in your shield, right? So if the spear thrusts and gets stuck in your shield, don't let go. Don't let go of your shield, because that might be a natural instinct that people would have. So instead of letting go of your shield, the next line of text says, 只用刀尖将牌借力点开. So 只用刀尖 means rapidly use the point of your dao or your saber. 将牌 take the shield, and 借力顶开, so by means of your strength, you rely or borrow your strength to push and open up the shield. I should say that in the 五倍制, instead of saying 借力顶开, or use your strength to push an opening, it actually says 借刀顶开, which means use your dao or your saber to push an opening. I actually think that this might just be a typo because the characters for li and the characters for dao are extremely similar, and it makes a lot more sense to me to try and rely on your own strength with the shield to get an opening, rather than try to somehow free a spear or something with your saber. Very last little bit of text reads 几进绝妙, which means entering quickly is the best way to do things, which makes sense in a lot of these postures. So I think that this posture is called the 埋伏式, the ambush stance, because you can either ambush the spear by like staying low and waiting for them to stab at you, and then you quickly transition and run forward with like the 经济判头式, or it could be something like whenever the spear gets stuck, you ambush them by, pushing down and opening up and then coming in with the point of your saber. Ideally, whenever you're low to the ground like this, the shield should cover your entire body. But mine is a little bit small for my size, and in the past there would be some which would be, quite a bit bigger than mine. So in the future, whenever I make another one, I'll probably make one that's bigger so I can do some of these techniques more accurately. Alright, so now let's go outside and I'll show you my interpretation of how this posture actually works. In many forms, we see a lot of low walking, and this low walking is very slow and very close to the ground. Personally, whenever I'm employing this low walking, I like to bring my hips up from the ground slightly and move a little bit more quickly. I still try to stay low. Ideally, I'd have a bigger shield that I can really hide behind, but this is much quicker. And in addition to that, the natural opening here is to thrust to the head with the spear, and whenever they do that, you can employ the 经济判头式 and counter them from below. One really strange and unique thing about this posture is that in every version of this text that I can find, it depicts the shield person with their left knee kind of on the ground. And what I think is going on here is not that you stay in that position, because it's, you can't move at all if you just sit down like that, and the text has to go quickly, right? So I think it's actually a type of technique that you employ where you push down on your left knee, almost like what you would do in wrestling if you're shooting in for a single leg takedown. And what you can do is if the spear gets stuck into your shield, you can employ this to kind of drive forward over the top of the spear, and then you come in with your own overhead thrust from above. So that is my take on the 埋伏式, or the ambush stance. Let me know if you think that my interpretation has some kind of issue or problems, or you have some other comments to add. I'm always glad to read what your guys' input is. Thank you all for watching. As always, please subscribe and don't forget to stay sharp.